And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Off to the races we go. It is Thursday morning. The end of the week is nearing us. Right now, if I'm correct, we're looking at 69. We are 69 as we wait for a high of 89 to 90 today. We'll look at radar in a moment and, well, see what all it has to offer there. Slight chance of rain. For the most part, we'll have a mostly sunny sky today. Not bad at all, is it? Boy, the storms we had last night, we'll talk about those after 7 o'clock this morning, go over that. There's a few of you without power. We'll check that in a moment as we're waking up, as we'll look around the state and then the counties surrounding us of who's out and doesn't have power. We'll look at all of that in just a moment. Right now, let's check all this off, get ourselves in a good mood and go for a good word. Let's go to Collinsville now.
Have you ever seen a fire get out of control? It's pretty crazy just how quick a small ember can turn into a serious flame. Or perhaps you've seen the small rudder of a boat drive the vessel where it did not want to go. I mean, just recently, we saw that tragic accident that sent a massive cargo ship into a very important bridge in Baltimore. Look, little things can turn into big things quick, and that certainly holds true for the words we speak. And this is what James tells us. Consider ships. Though very large and driven by fierce winds, they are guided by a very small rudder wherever the will of the pilot directs. So too, though the tongue is small, it boasts great things. Consider how a small fire sets ablaze a large forest. And the tongue is a fire. The tongue, a world of unrighteousness, is placed among our members. It stains the whole body, sets the whole course of life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. Every kind of animal, bird, reptile, fish is tamed and has been tamed by humankind, but no one can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. I read that and I'm like, I guess I don't need to talk anymore, right? It's something that we definitely shouldn't play with. And Proverbs 10:19 says this, when there are many words, sin is unavoidable, but the one who controls his lips is prudent. Look, I think the message here is clear. For those who can't control their tongues, their mouths, their words, sin will inevitably come. And maybe you say, well, I just tell it like it is. But the question is, are we speaking truth in love? Let's all be measured in what we say. Remember Ephesians 4:29. No foul language should come from your mouth, but only what is good for building up someone in need so that it gives grace to those who hear. Let us be a people who give grace to those who hear. Let us be a people that build each other up. How are you doing with your tongue today? How are you doing with your words? I pray that you're honoring the Lord and you're building up other people with it. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Welcome back. I hope you liked that. JJ, got a great message coming up on Sunday also. Brother Ben will be there. As I mentioned, power outages, we're looking good on the EMEPA side. Let's go ahead and pull this up where you can see this morning. We're down to about 22 souls without power on the Mississippi side, EMEPA side. As we'll look at this one out in Tumsuba, we've got one person in the Collinsville area. And then in Clark County, we've got roughly a total of 20 spread out across the county there. Now, let's look at state numbers. And again, it's not great if you're down to that 22, but for the most part, you've got to remember we started that number last night at over 12,000 people without power. We've got a lot of guys that have worked hard all night throughout these evening hours, and they'll start back. They usually begin around 6 a.m. working. Let's look at what we've got statewide as we pull this up this morning. We're showing roughly 6,900 statewide, hit hard down in here as well. But as we go to this area here on the eastern side, Noxubee County up and running, so is Winston County, and we see that Attala County down to 52. We look at Leake, one person, Neshoba, a couple, and it was huge there earlier. Kemper County, everybody's up and running. Lauderdale County, about 4. Newton, and we get into Scott with a couple. And as we look at Clark, this is that Mississippi power side where we had 20 on the EMEPA side, about 40 of those being Mississippi power side without it. So a lot of hard work went in overnight. They've hustled. There were some major trees down as we looked at Marion last night. We'll show all of that here in a little bit. We got a lot of pictures to show this morning of what went on last night. Come out of nowhere, didn't it? It did. So we got all of that to talk about this morning as we get the day rolling just for you as we all gather around. Thursday. Wow, we got a lot going on. Don't forget what today is, D-Day. I don't want anybody to ever forget that. We'll go more in detail on that as well coming up on the anniversary of it today. Do y'all remember the defense secretary? You know, the guy that checked into the hospital. And again, his title in the United States is defense secretary. Checked into the hospital, just didn't tell anybody. His chief of staff has stepped down. They're saying it has nothing to do with it. Okay. January 6th, still going on since 21. They've arrested 2 more people, this time a NASCAR driver and his son. They have tied him back to the January 6th in some shape, form, or way and made an arrest on him. American Idol. Now, I don't watch as much of that. A lot of you love that show. Occasionally, I'll walk through and watch a minute or 2 of it. But one of the singers, Mandasia, anybody remember her? She passed away not long ago. They're saying that the autopsy reveals that she died of some form of obesity. Oh, that's sad. We hate that. I don't understand what stage 2 obesity is, but that's what they've ruled that is her death. Montgomery, Alabama, overnight. We've had a shooting. 3 people were killed in Montgomery. And again, this is at a grocery store. And as they're seeing this, they're saying they're seeing more of these targeting Latino-owned businesses, robberies, things of that nature, and drive-by shootings. Montgomery, Alabama. Walmart's stepping things up, and I guess I've never thought about this. They're going to start offering more incentives. They've got their own people that work on the AC units. So if you're into that, they're looking to hire folks. They're even saying that managers now can make above $400,000 a year. They're going to be offering $1,000 bonuses to regular employees. A lot going on with Walmart as they try to step up their game and keep a good working class for them. We hope that. Yeah, they do need to buy checkout people. And rumor is that the day of that is going away because the theft is so high. There's a lot of dishonest people. There's a lot of things I see in America now that I would never have thought as a boy. I'm not going to say how many years ago that has been, but boy, how times have changed in my lifetime. And if you're older than me, I can't even imagine what you've seen in your lifetime our country do. It's been something else, hasn't it? Things that are socially acceptable that should never be acceptable. It happens every day, and each day a little bit more. Oh, it's going to be okay. As Americans turn their back and say, well, it doesn't concern me. Well, yeah, it does. At some point, you have to draw that line in the sand and go no more. Are we there yet, or is the country lost? That is up to everyday Joe, what you will accept as being acceptable. People are pulling back on this as prices have gone up. Tips. Do you find yourself leaving a less of a tip? Most Americans are doing that because things have cost so much now. They just say they can't afford to add any more to it. Big thank you to Joe there. This is not going to happen in my world. They say it's coming. That's up to you if you feel comfortable doing it, but possibly another COVID vaccine for this fall. I'm going to say no and keep going. That's up to you, what you want to do. We go to Wisconsin this morning to a federal prison, and often we see that people die in prison. It does happen. Here's the problem on this. They have now arrested 9, actually have been charged in this, including the warden. And you go, what in the world could have happened? Well, at the end of the day, the buck stops here. You've heard that term. Somebody has to answer as we look at this. As Dodge County Sheriff said, one of 2 mates at the, and I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, Waupun Correctional Institution was dead in the cell for 12 hours before he was even discovered. They're supposed to do checks every few hours to check on everybody. Even the nurse skipped her rounds. They're supposed to check on everybody. It's a whole list of people that, well, are going to get blame over this. No matter what, you still have a job to do. If you're put in jail, sometimes there are innocent people put in jail. It doesn't matter. You still have to take care of them while they're there. It's the humane thing to do. And that was not nice. Hunter Biden trial is in day 4 now. Testimony from people about the rampant drug use and trashed hotel rooms, and y'all have seen the pictures. The most interesting title that I saw was earlier in the week as Hunter entered the courtroom, and I suppose it was his wife that was with him. They were talking about how elegant they looked going into the courtroom, and I couldn't help but think of what was on the computer and think, what is elegant about that? But that was just one reporter's take on things. Again, it goes back to what is acceptable in America. Years and years ago, this never would have happened to the first family that is in the White House. It wouldn't have been allowed by Americans. Someone would have had to have stepped down and gotten away with a scandal. Scandals everywhere. No one cares anymore, do they? They don't. We'll be back to check your forecast next. Kirby's in with us this morning, VFW. We're going to learn about that. I hope you'll hang around. That all gets underway at 7 o'clock. We've got weather and a lot of it to talk about here in just a few moments. Stay with us. We'll get deeper into this. Philadelphia Gun and Pawn, located at 910 Posey Avenue, has tons of lawnmowers to choose from. A big selection of zero-turn lawnmowers, power washers, and even barbecue grills. Step inside the store and see their complete line of Liberty safes along with those Browning safes. A large selection of Louis Vuitton purses along with satin shirts and bead sets. And tons to choose from for the outdoorsman in your household. And always a great deal on any type of jewelry you're looking for. And a private lobby for pawns for your confidentiality. Philadelphia Gun and Pawn. Welcome back. Let's get in that forecast now and look at your radar.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
We are picking up some fog this morning. If you're going to be in Lauderdale, Newton, Jasper, or Clark County, it's heavy, especially southern Lauderdale County to central Clark County. Look at this. This kind of starts in Quitman and goes northward. Let's look at our locations and turn this on this morning where you can see this. This will start somewhere around the co-op, Archusa, move northward, taking in Pachuta. Most of western side of Clark County, almost all the way. It's going to be thick there at Energy, but thicker as we go west and come into Lauderdale County, up by Long Creek, Ballfield, out by the Evangel Temple. It is thick. As we go back toward I-20 into Newton County, we're going to have some heavy fog there. Now, this moderate fog all the way up to Collinsville this morning, out to Highway 19, coming in out by the racetrack with Rodney. We got it even over to the Veteran Cemetery there and coming over to Garlandville. Even here, we've got it showing up at Lake Edens. Y'all got a little bit of fog there over to Montrose and down to Jay's Taxidermy. So if you're traveling these areas, be cautious, be careful this morning. As we look at the radar and some rain there, a little bit there. And as we look here, northwestern corner of Winston County, a few showers this morning. Even down in Laurel, heavier rain right now at Hattiesburg down to Purvis if you've got to travel south. Our friends over in the east, Central Nell, if you're traveling that two-lane road, be careful. Monroeville. It's raining hard there as well this morning. Jackson, Chatham, Alabama. As we look at this, Daphne, few showers there along Gulf Shores. Nothing serious, but just a shower or two, even in Biloxi this morning. And that's the way that looks. Now, as we get deeper into our forecast this morning, let's get into that where you'll kind of know what's happening today and what to expect as we go back for our record highs and record lows. We pull it up. We go back to 1977. I was 8 years old. I remember that well. That was the year of the ice storm, if I remember right. 100 today back in 1977. Back in 2009, I can barely remember that one. It was 53 today. That's like a blur ago. It happens as you get older, and, well, older folks will tell you that if you're a young person watching this morning. It does become a blur. Here's our outlook for today. Somewhere between 89 to 90 as we go toward Columbus. We'll still see that 90. Rain chances there, slight chances. We're showing those in Winston County this morning. We'll get sunshine for the most part of the day, but a slight chance of rain in our forecast. As we look at Bama, we should see 87 in Demopolis, even up to Birmingham, not bad, 85. Down to Troy, about 81 expected today. As we look at our outlook for the next 10 days, it's kind of normal, but cooler to a degree in portions of Mississippi, especially northern Mississippi. Not going to be as hot as it could be. That'll go away. You see it coming from the west, don't you? As we look at our 10-day, 7-day outlook here, 88 to 90 today forecasted here. 20% chance of showers is what I'm showing. And again, it's a slight chance there. We're warm tomorrow, crossing that 90-degree line as we move into the weekend with 91, 92. Slight chances of rain on Sunday afternoon. As Monday rolls in, we'll have a 40% chance of rain, and then still slight rain chances on Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's go another week into this to show you what's happening with the forecast as we go all the way through June 20th. Woof. We got some 93-degree days ahead of us and pretty steady at 90 regardless of what day you look at in June, at least through the 20th of it. Scattered showers here and there, nothing bad. We'll be on top of that weather forecast as we look at that. As we look at the forecast of fishing today, Chet tells us perfect time is going to be 1 o'clock today, straight up 1 till 3. So somewhere around 12:30, make your way to your favorite fishing hole and be ready to go. It'll be nighttime before you get another great time at it. Slight chance there at 9:22 this afternoon if you like nighttime fishing. Some people do. The wind's going to be calm, becoming north-northwest around 5 in the afternoon. Not too bad at all there. Now, as we look at the tropics, what's going on with that today? Absolutely nothing. As we look at this, all is clear in the Gulf, and we like that. Nothing going on there. So something to smile about, and, well, that's one of the best we can do there. Already, 6:46 as we get near the top of the hour. A lot of things happened over the last 24 hours. We'll tell you about the arrest that has happened. A charge has happened in the Meridian area of a murder. Wow. We'll get into that, what we know at this point. Not a lot coming out of this. MBI is involved. We'll give you the details of what we know. And then, well, I got some news coming out of Jackson, too, that we can tease a little bit. It hasn't happened yet, but troubles are coming. And if there's trouble in Jackson, I highly, highly suggest, if you're a politician in the Meridian area, pay attention. Don't be doing anything wrong. Some bad stuff out there. What's that sound when you hear click? What? Oh, those bracelets. Whew. Expensive bracelets I'm hearing in the background here. Some of that probably coming to the Jackson. We'll tell you about that coming up. Same folks that told me about Tico's. Pretty reliable sources there of members of the House that, well, had a little bit too much to drink that time. It was all factual. It happened. They couldn't cover it up. All over a purse, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yep. Somebody wanted a brand new purse. They just had to earn it.
Kirby said he used to give free bracelets out.
You gave free bracelets? Yeah. We've got a former police officer who's going to show us the proper way that is done. Up and coming at the top of the hour. Join us, won't you? 7 o'clock when it gets all underway here at the Scotty Ray Report. The only thing missing is you. Join us, won't you? We'll see you soon.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.